So in this exercise we're going to look at drawing the saw blade. You can see there's obviously we're going to use the array command, and there's a few other little tricks as well. First of all, let's draw the center lines. And we'll just have a look at the sizes here. So we want a circle of 72.5 radius and the outside is going to be a 74. So let's put that circle in. 72.5 radius, that shows us what size it is. Now we need the starting point for the first tooth, and if we look at the drawing again, it's offset of 30, and that'll give us a starting point to draw. So let's use offset, distance of 30. We'll take our center line and offset it to the side here. There's our starting point. Referring to the drawing again, we need to come down 11.6 before we hit a radius. So let's go line, pick up the intersection point, we'll draw down 11.6. Now I'm just going to do a construction line across there so we can use that later on. Now from this point we need an arc. I think I'll just use a circle, 1.6 radius, and I'm going to move that across. And then we can trim that back later. Now we'll just look at the drawing again. From the tangent point on that radius, it goes off at an angle of 10 degrees. So we'll start drawing a line, and shift right button, tangent. We want a tangent to that circle. And whether it picked up correctly there, we'll just try that again. First point, shift right button, tangent to that circle. So it's a deferred tangent, it doesn't know where it's going to go. We know an angle, we know a rough distance, let's say relative to our starting point, so at a distance of, don't know, let's say 20, at an angle of, and that will be 90 minus 10, which is 80 degrees. So that's the center line of our tooth. Now the tooth is offset 1.2 either side. We're coming up 3.6 to the base of the tooth. So let's offset this line. We'll just offset a distance of 3.6. That line up to there gives us the base of our circle. Now we need to offset our center line a distance of 1.2. So offset once again 1.2 either side, like so. Now we need another circle out here. We can put another circle in from our center point, and it has a radius of 74. That gives us the top of the tooth up there. We need another circle in here. We actually need to find the center of that circle, so 3.6, we need to go up another 1.2, so let's offset 1.2 up, and that should be the center of the circle which forms the base of the tooth. So we can come out to our nearest point there, and if you look in, going in closely, you can see that it's not quite on the center of the tooth, so that's important to get all that right. Alright, so it's all pretty much over bar the trimming. We want to do one segment, so I need to find where the next tooth starts. So I've drawn this part here. I want to know where this segment finishes. So what I'm going to do is take this line and rotate it, and we'll do a rotate about the center, and we need to work out what angle that is. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 of them. Divide that into 360 degrees, gives us 18 degrees. Does that sound right? So we want to rotate that through 18 degrees, and that should be where our next tooth starts. It also gives us a I think I might have rotated the wrong one there. Let's just undo that. Oh no, that was okay. That one there, rotate that, base point, center of the circle, 18 degrees. Yep, that's correct. I'll offset my center line again because I just used the one that I had here. 1.2 is still sitting there, so we'll just put that back in. Okay, now a bit of trimming. So we'll just go trim, select everything here. First of all, our tooth. Important to get all this cleaned up before we do any array, because if we have parts left over before we do the array, then they'll have to be cleaned up later. A little bit more trim again. Okay, I think that's getting pretty close now. I don't need this top part. Whoop, that mustn't have been touching. We'll go undo there. Trim. That's pretty tricky. We'll just undo that. It wasn't what we intended to do, but it did the job anyway. But let's just select everything. We'll trim off what we don't need here. We don't need the rest of this line. Now everything else can be deleted, so just delete these extra construction lines. Looks like I forgot to trim the circle off, so we're back to trim again. Trim out the circle, and that should be all clean in there. Just check that everything's right. Missed a bit up here. Okay, this gets deleted. We don't need that. We don't need that. And this one here should have been trimmed as well. That was a separate line. Okay, so now we're up to doing the array. So